the entry to the United States. Musk, who previously vowed to go to war to defend the program, described it as broken and in need of major reforms. And now Trump says he is in favor of H1B visas amid MAGA row over foreign workers. We talk to experts on what the row is all about. And trouble in Georgia seems to be growing even after Mikhail Kavelashvili took oath. High drama unfolded outside Parliament. Hundreds of Georgians opposed the political developments, backing the outgoing president, Salom Zurabishvili. Welcome to the show. All right. The Republican camp is caught in a heated debate over H1B visas, with key figures taking opposing sides. Tension has been growing within the coalition, primarily between MAGA activists and technocrats. While MAGA activists call for prioritizing American workers, technocrats back the importance of foreign talent in maintaining USA's competitive edge. The row unfolded with far-right activist Laura Loomer opposing the nomination of Sriram Krishnan as the White House AI advisor. She alleged Krishnan, who once supported removing the country cap on H1B visas, was not aligned with American first policies. Elon Musk and David Sachs, among others, backed Krishnan's stance on expanding opportunities for skilled foreign workers. Musk, a vocal proponent of skilled immigration, took a hard stance against MAGA activists. He labeled his critics contemptible fools and called for their removal from the Republican Party. Musk also recalled his own immigrant roots, stating that many pivotal contributors to America's progress arrived through the H1B program. This support further inflamed tensions, with Loomer accusing Musk of betraying MAGA ideals. President-elect Donald Trump weighed in. He supported Elon Musk's argument, saying he fully backs the program for foreign tech workers, opposed by some of his supporters. Trump's remarks followed a series of social media posts from Musk, who vowed to go to war to defend the visa program. However, he pointed out that the system, which is used to bring skilled foreign workers to the U.S., is broken and that needs major reforms. Right-wing commentator Charlie Kirk described the conflict as an attempt by smart leftists to create division within the Republican coalition. He urged the factions to unite to save America. Vivek Ramaswamy, co-chief for the Department of Government Efficiency and a central figure in the debate, agreed with Kirk's assessment. He further explained that U.S. companies favor foreign workers due to lack of drive among native-born Americans, a statement that stirred further controversy. The divide within the Republican coalition has brought forward a bigger challenge to the forefront: how the coalition will balance nationalist policies with realities of a globalized economy is a big question.
An uncommon virtue.
Christopher Hale is a political analyst. Is now joining us from Chicago, the United States. Mr. Hale, welcome to the show. Why do you think Trump's supporters are not in tandem with Trump when it comes to the H1B visa row or the foreign entry requirement?
You know, it's interesting. I think that Donald Trump is, in his own way, a coalition-building president. And so I actually don't know if there's a clear belief that Trump actually has on these issues. I think what's really remarkable here is I think that there's a really revelatory nature to the fact that his coalition is fractured because he doesn't really have a base that on this issue. Those folks who really oppose H1B1 visas, they're the most rowdy online supporters of President Trump. But there's not a lot of evidence that I see that that's actually the majority of his coalition. Well, he didn't restrict H1B1 visas in his first term. I think it's remarkable. 53% of Americans, which as a Democrat I find upsetting, had a very positive view of Trump's first term. However, there is a subset of Trump's hardcore supporters who thinks he did not go far enough on immigration in his first term, did not go far enough on getting rid of quote unquote deep state or the administrative state. And I think that's what's going on here. So I think we're having a fight about, is Trump 2.0 simply going to be a continuation of his first term, or is he going to go quote unquote harder in the paint? And I think that his inclinations is actually to do Trump 1.0 on immigration and make perhaps much harder pushes on getting rid of the administrative state. So I think that this is his supporters are pushing him to an area he does not want to go.
Mr. Hale, let me ask you, do you think this row, this H1B visa row, is intertwined with Trump's policy on immigration, and that will blow up when Trump takes power, or as you say it, Trump 2.0?
I think it's possible. I think the big thing that if he wants lasting change on immigration policy, he has to go through the legislative route. The executive branch can do a lot on security, but they cannot do they cannot do everything. There is a legislative route, and with such razor thin majorities, really a razor thin majority in the House now, not as much in the Senate. It's really going to be hard to keep this coalition together. And so I think this could be a fracture. If I'm Donald Trump, I take the executive action route completely on immigration. I don't bring up the legislative fight, because I think the legislative fight's not going to go in his favor, because it's going to fracture the Republican Party. As you know, there's a Speaker of the House race in the United States here just this Friday. And there's a lot of belief that Mike Johnson, who's only been in the job for 15 months, could be in trouble again. And Kevin McCarthy only lasted in that job 6 months. It's been really hard to maintain the herd, the sheep, if you will, in the Republican House. So I do think this could blow up. And I think it's remarkable this is blowing up. This blow up happened over Christmas weekend online. We haven't even gotten to the actual legislating part of this. So this really shows there is a fragility in Trump's base. But if I'm Donald Trump, I ask myself, who got me to the ball? Who took me to the dance? 53% of Americans said that they supported his first term. I do think that his instincts are probably to do what he did last time. And I think that's the politically correct instincts. I think a lot of these online rabble-rousers, look, I'm not a big Elon Musk supporter, but a lot of online rabble-rousers, I think, are not with the majority of his base and the majority of Americans.
Christopher Hale, as we wind up this conversation very quickly, it's a yes or no answer. Should foreign workers who are intending to come to the United States be worried?
No, I don't think so. I don't think anything will change on this.
All right. I've been talking to Christopher Hale, who's a political analyst. Christopher, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you for having me.
Tributes are pouring in for Jimmy Carter, the former U.S. President and Nobel Peace Laureate who died aged 100. U.S. President Joe Biden declared January 9th as National Day of Mourning for Carter, saying America and the world has lost an extraordinary leader, statesman, and humanitarian.
What we never see his like again. We'd all do well to try to be a little more like Jimmy Carter. You know, my mom, you've heard me say this before, used to say, bravery lives in every heart, and someday it'll be summoned. Every time it was summoned, he stepped up.
President-elect Donald Trump said that Americans owe Carter a debt of gratitude. He added that the challenges Jimmy faced as president came at a pivotal time for the country, and he did everything in his power to improve the lives of all Americans. Among former U.S. presidents, Bill Clinton said his predecessor had worked tirelessly for a better, fairer world. George W. Bush said that Carter dignified the office, and his efforts to leave behind a better world did not end with his presidency. In his tribute, former President Barack Obama said that Carter, quote, taught all of us what it means to live a life of grace, dignity, justice and service. Flowers were placed outside the Carter Center in Atlanta, Georgia. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said Carter will be remembered for his solidarity with the vulnerable, his abiding grace, and his unrelenting faith in the common good and our common humanity. World Health Organization Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus noted Carter's post-presidency work with his foundation saved countless lives and helped bring many neglected tropical diseases close to elimination. Egyptian leader Abdel Fattah al-Sisi praised Carter for his role in brokering the historic 1978 Camp David Accords, which established peace between Egypt and Israel. In Panama, where Carter reached an agreement to hand over the Panama Canal, President Jose Mulino praised the Democrat for helping his country achieve full sovereignty. Brazil's Lula da Silva hailed Carter as a lover of democracy and defender of peace, noting his pressuring of Brazil's dictatorship to release political prisoners. Britain's King Charles said Carter's dedication and humility served as an inspiration to many, while Prime Minister Keir Starmer paid tribute to the U.S. leader's lifelong dedication to peace. Though many focused on his time in office, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky highlighted Carter's unwavering support for Ukraine. Kartarpuri village, located in Gurugram district in the Indian state of Haryana, holds a unique place in both local and international contexts due to its association with former U.S. President, the late Jimmy Carter. WION's Siddhant Sibol filed this report.
This place can be any other place in the suburbs of Delhi, with its kacha roads and newly built houses. But this place has been an important milestone in Indo-US ties. This is Kartarpuri, named after former US President Jimmy Carter. Originally known as Daulatpur Nasirabad, this village is located in the Gurugram district of Haryana. It was renamed Kartarpuri in honor of the 39th United States President Jimmy Carter after his visit to the village on January 3rd in 1978, along with his wife, Rosalind Carter. Old-timers recall his visit fondly, many in their 90s now, while the young mention the stories told by the elders with great interest. How the village became a center of attraction with high security presence. Many say that his visit spurred the development of the village.
There were a lot of government cars that came. The fields were sowed, kacha houses were whitewashed, and there were so many cars. He was also taken to a gas plant. He was made to wear the traditional clothes of our place, like a cap and shirt and a shawl.
10 women at the school in this village did his tika, and other 10 made him wear a traditional shawl. There was nothing here, no lanes and no wells. Everything got built when he came.
Carter's visit was significant because his mother, Lillian Carter, had previously worked in the village in the late 1960s as a member of the Peace Corps, creating a personal connection between the former president and the community. The village celebrated when Carter won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. Carter was the third US president to visit India. His 1978 India visit was aimed at resetting Indo-US ties. During the visit, he held talks with former Indian Prime Minister Morarji Desai, got a public reception at Ram Leela Maidan. But the one that is remembered today is his visit to village Kartarpuri. The village is part of the urban sprawl of Gurugram, one of India's rapidly developing regions. It has a history that locals won't forget. The economy of Kartarpuri is closely tied to the industrial development of Gurugram. Many residents work in nearby factories, Indian military, and small businesses catering to the local economy.
Kartarpuri is named after US President Jimmy Carter. He visited this village, and the people of this village are very proud of not only the visit but the fact that they're named after the President of United States who visited this village in 1978. And whenever the history of India-US relationship will be talked about, the name of this village will always crop up. With video journalist Dheeraj Patel, Siddhant Sibal for WION in Katrapuri, Haryana.
Well, it seems like troubles for Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau are unending. The latest, according to a survey, the vast majority of Canadians are unhappy with the Liberal Party's administration and want Justin Trudeau to step down as Prime Minister. By October 2025, parliamentary elections are expected to take place in Canada. However, after Chrystia Freeland, the Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, resigned, conflict and rebellion inside the ruling Liberals Party came out in the open. In an internal meeting after Freeland's departure, up to 1/3 of Liberal members of Parliament called for Trudeau's resignation.
Can you tell us?
A survey by Lega, cited by National Post, 69% of Canadians feel that Trudeau should resign. Despite Trudeau's tremendous unpopularity, the issue is not unique to him. According to the survey, 72% of Canadians expressed dissatisfaction with the federal government as a whole. Support for Trudeau's Liberals is at an all-time low right now. According to analysts, Trudeau has turned into a liability. They claim that if he continues to lead, the party's chances would only get worse, and the survey's findings back such an assertion. According to the most recent results on CBC News poll tracker, 44% of respondents favor the Conservative Party, while only 20.9% support Trudeau's Liberals. The Liberals, who have 20.9% of the vote, have a very narrow lead over Jagmeet Singh's New Democratic Party, or NDP, which is supported by 19% of Canadians. So Trudeau and the Liberals may also lose the position of leader of the opposition if voters follow the poll's results. The chances of the NDP leading the opposition may be better if the Liberals perform as poorly as polls indicate. The Liberals currently hold 153 members of Parliament. Excuse me for that. The Conservatives 120, the NDP 25, and Bloc Québécois 33 in Canada's 337-member House of Commons. With the help of the NDP, Trudeau has long led a minority government. Trudeau and the Liberals were thrown into a crisis when the NDP stopped supporting the government in September. Georgia has inaugurated a new president known for his pro-Russian views amid claims his controversial election is a sham. Georgia lies at the intersection of Europe and Asia. It is a former Soviet republic that's home to Caucasus mountain villages and Black Sea beaches. Mikhail Kavelashvili, a far-right firebrand and former footballer, has been sworn in at a ceremony in the country's parliament, consolidating the hold of the ruling pro-Russian Georgian Dream Party in the country. Kavelashvili took the oath of office in a closed-door ceremony in Parliament during a crucial political phase. The inauguration came in the wake of the government's decision to pause its EU membership.
I plan to be everyone's president regardless of whether they like me or not. My future efforts will be directed toward the consolidation and unification of society. Regardless of the opinions others may have on various issues, we must strive to unite around our homeland, shared values, the principles of mutual respect, and the future we should build together.
Georgian Dream Party won parliamentary elections in October, but the victory was mired in allegations of fraud, which have since sparked several street protests. Even as Kavelashvili took oath, high drama unfolded outside Parliament. Hundreds of Georgians opposed the political developments, backing the outgoing president Salom Zorabichvili. In fact, a scuffle broke out between the protesters and Georgian police, with several of them being detained. Now, amid the high drama, the outgoing president refused to step down while vacating the presidential palace. She called herself the only legitimate president and the inauguration a parody.
This is a real parody, and this country does not deserve such parodies. Because there is a parody in contrast to US. They are behind closed doors, frightened, sold out, illegitimate, unrecognized by anyone, sanctioned and bitter.
Georgian Dream Party, which retained control of parliament in October polls, has vowed to continue pushing towards EU accession, but also wants to reset ties with Russia. Georgia's outgoing president and main pro-Western parties have boycotted the post-election parliamentary sessions and have demanded a rerun of the ballot. In India's national capital, gearing up for elections early next year, the politics is heating up. Arvind Kejriwal, the national convener of the Aam Aadmi Party or AAP, and former Chief Minister of Delhi, that is, party would give Hindu temple priests and Gurudwara grantees a monthly allowance of 18,000 Indian rupees or $210. The announcements of the scheme comes ahead of assembly elections in Delhi. Kejriwal says that the registration process for the scheme will begin on the 31st of December. Kejriwal says that he would visit the Hanuman Mandir in Delhi's Connaught Place to oversee the registration process of the priests. Following the remarks, the former chief minister said on social media, and I quote, "This scheme is a tribute to their spiritual contribution to society and their efforts to preserve our cultural heritage." However, Kejriwal failed to provide precise instructions for the registration procedure. He said the number of registrations to avail of the proposed honorarium will be made public once the process was completed. Moreover, it is also not known yet whether the new scheme will be covering priests of churches in India's national capital. Meanwhile, Kejriwal's announcement of a monthly salary for Hindu temple priests and Gurudwara grantees was made just hours after Delhi Waqf or WAQF board imams demonstrated outside the home of the AAP national leader over the delay of salaries by the Delhi government. There has been a growing demand for re-examination of Bihar Public Service Commission or BPSC prelims. A day after students demanding prelims were lathi charged by Bihar police. Now, a delegation of 10 aspirants held talks with State Chief Secretary. However, the students said they did not get any concrete assurance or timeline for addressing their demands. This includes withdrawal of FIRs against over a dozen students.
Talks have been held with the Chief Secretary, and now the decision rests with the government. We raised the concerned issues with them. Bureaucracy has its own way of answering the questions. We didn't receive any particular answers in yes or no. They only said that they would take a look into the matter.
With no decision taken yet, the candidates stated that their next steps will depend on the government's call. They say the agitation will continue until the government addresses their demands. The issue has taken a political color, with Jan Suraj Party founder Prashant Kishore backing the students' demands. In fact, he faced flack for supporting the aspirants. RJD leader Tejasvi Yadav has accused Kishore of running away from the protests during lathi charge and use of water cannons by police, while Niraj Kumar, a senior leader of the JDU, has called him a political fugitive. The controversy began when candidates at the Bapu Examination Center boycotted the BSc preliminary test due to delayed question papers. Videos of mobile phone use and lack of security inside the examination center during the test further fueled the protests. BPSC decided to cancel the examination at the Bapu Center and rescheduled it for December 4th. But students demanded cancellation across all centers due to alleged irregularities. Thank you for watching Race to Power on WION The World is One. I'm Eric Njoka. Stay with us.
The stress of our world can take a toll on our physical and emotional health. Here, in New York's Catskill Mountains, lies a luxurious place of healing called WION Wellness Center. The WION Wellness Center provides 500,000 square feet of natural methods to manage diabetes, hypertension, chronic pain, obesity, depression, anxiety, and other conditions. We use the traditions of centuries-old natural science from India, yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy in personalized programs that help you take charge of your own health. A minimum 5-day stay is recommended for best results. Book now at yowon.com.
In a year that reshaped the world, 2024 brought seismic shifts, bold moves, and unforgettable moments that will echo through history around the globe. Wars continued to ravage nations, but new alliances and power shifts began to rewrite the rules of geopolitics. 2024 also bore witness to nature's fury. Climate change fueled deadly wildfires, devastating floods, and unprecedented storms. Devastating wars to technological revolutions. 2024 was the year that changed everything. The Game Changers 2024. The year that reshaped our future. Only on WION. World is One.
To bring the benefits of the Subhash Chandra Show to your educational institution, teachers and students, send an invitation to Juhi Jha at juhi@such.org.in.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
Welcome back. You're watching WION The World is One. Time now for Fine Print. I'm Eric Njoka. The headlines. Russia Swaps 150 Ukrainian soldiers held captive for an equal number of Russian troops in an exchange deal brokered by the United Arab Emirates.